Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to World Online Racing. We are here this evening to bring you Crossplay Tier 2, which is our top tier this evening because Tier 1 isn't racing. So we have top tier action live from the Silverstone circuit in Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire. The man joining alongside me knows a little bit about British racing circuits, although he will argue that Brands Hatch should still host the British Grand Prix. It's Mr. ETH Steve. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm very good, Evan. How are you?
I'm not too bad. As you can see, I've gone for Steve's motto. I'm wearing the McLaren jumper. So if McLaren have a howler, you can blame me this week. Let's get straight into things then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at our championship standings before this evening. I almost played an advert for you, but we do have the standings on screen now. It is technically match point 1 for Joe Murphy. He can win the title here today in his own backyard, but he's going to have to put in a bit of a mammoth effort to do so. If he does win the race, he is the champion. Other than that, he's going to outscore Ogween by 5 points. Of course, if they were tied after Brazil, it will be Joe Murphy who would win based on count back. Then it is, of course, Ogween in second, as previously stated. Quantum in third, with Furious in fourth. Gabor in fifth, with Venom in sixth. Then it is our one-off race winner and last week pole sitter Ian Van Uden in seventh. Schumacher then in eighth, followed by Chelsea in ninth. And Elite Risks rounds out the top 10. Then it is Bobberts, Joao Pedro, Boots, Magician, Expert Almond. Then it is OP, Twist, Jack, Zorzo, Typical, and Dara. Our constructor standings, although they're not on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, we can still run you through them, of course. It is actually Haas Formula 1 who are leading ahead of Alpine. It's 38 points, meaning that title could be won today as well, I believe. And it is Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, Williams, Ferrari, McLaren, AlphaTauri, Mercedes, and Alfa Romeo at the foot of the standings. But of course, Steve, it is Championship Day, technically, for Joe Murphy. If he plays right, will that be something on his mind heading into this evening?
I mean, excuse me. It could be. I mean, as a driver, you want to take every opportunity you can to wrap up that championship, and getting at the earliest opportunity here at Silverstone, it will be on his mind. So I would expect maybe he's thinking about it, but he knows he's got that race in hand. All he has to do today is just finish ahead of Ogween. That's going to be his main goal. The champion, wrapping it up today, that could be a sort of secondary goal, but his main focus probably will be beating Ogween and just trying to extend that championship lead by as much as possible before we head into Brazil next week. So Joe Murphy, he probably will want the championship wrapped up, but his main focus is beating Ogween here.
Well, let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen, at our track for this evening then. We'll be getting ready to try and win the championship in his own backyard, of course. It is the infamous Silverstone circuit, the home of Formula 1, the former RAF Air Force Base, is what I was trying to say. It was, of course, a World War II Royal Air Force bomber station. It's a 5.891 kilometre circuit, and then it is a 3.66 mile track. That is what these British people refer to length as. They use miles. Us European folk use kilometres, and then obviously we know what the Americans use. You've seen enough TikToks about it. But the lap record here, quite ironically, belongs to Max Verstappen in 2020. There is about 48 gear change, or 45 gear changes a lap average here. And of course the longest flat out section, that is the Hangar Straight, which you can see heading out of Chapel Curve and all the way down to Stowe Corner. Some very, very interesting overtaking opportunities here, Steve. Is this going to be a bit of a side-by-side fest, or will we see some DRS trains forming?
I mean, in the first stint, maybe expect a few more DRS trains. Everyone want to play it safe. Maybe if a driver has a bad qualifying, that's when you see them come through the order through that first stint. But first stint, DRS train. Second stint is where I would reckon all hell will break loose and everyone will be trying to gain as much positions as possible. That there's so many overtaking opportunities around here that it always produces brilliant racing, and especially on this game where DRS and slipstream are so much more powerful than we've seen in the past, where it will just make overtaking a lot more easier and just provide so many more opportunities that we wouldn't maybe see on other games.
Well, we have qualifying now getting underway for the British Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. The first man coming out on the circuit, that's actually going to be a Haas, I believe. No, it's Williams. Williams already out on track. That's Envy or Stonks, who exits the pit lane heading through turn number 3. believe we have a debutant here this evening once again, Steve. You might know a little bit more about this man, Supplying Raptor in the Williams. Is that someone changing their PSN? Is that a debutant here in Tier 2?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think he's raced this season. So yeah, he's a very quick driver. He's unfortunately not really able to partake in this season just due to other commitments. So yeah, I mean, he's a quick driver. He'll surely want to impress with only 2 rounds to go. So he'll just want to score as many points as he can and see what he can do, really. So yeah, Supply Raptor, he's a quick driver, and I reckon he could do quite well this evening.
So, good omens for Supplying Raptor potentially this evening, but it's his teammate who'll be the first man to start a lap at this Silverstone circuit, NVR Stong, so we can see heading down towards Maggots, Beckett's and the Chapel Curve. 3 of the best corners in motorsport, in some people's opinions, and probably my opinion as well. I could think of a few better. Of course, you have your Eau Rouge Radillon, you have La Piscine at Monaco, the Nouvelle Chicane as well at Monaco, but Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel right up there on the historic list of motorsport corners. Of course, they weren't always there like that back in the historic ages, but they're there now and they won't be moving. But NVR Stong's going to be the first man to start his qualifying lap here in Silverstone, just short shifting up the gears and exiting the final club corner onto the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight down in towards turn number 1. This is Abbey, and then there's a flat left-hander to follow of Farm Curve down towards the braking zone of turn number 3, first braking zone, first real overtaking opportunity on the circuit. Sometimes you can stick a wheel up the inside into Abbey, but it's not really feasible. Up through the arena then, decent run that by the Williams, and on towards the Wellington straight. It is the second longest flat out section here at Silverstone, and down then towards the famous left-hander. This is Brooklands. You've just got to wait to hit your apex and then instantly prepare for a right-hander of Luffield. Formerly the final corner, of course. It's now turn number 7 as you head down on towards Woodcut, which is a flat right-hander. Not flat in a motorbike, but most certainly flat in a 4-wheeled single-seater automobile. In towards Cops Corner then, ferocious through here, 8th gear flat, almost in qualifying at this stage. Come the end of qualifying, could well be flat through Maggots, Beckett's and then Chapel Curve, which is the right-hander here. It is a right-hander but instantly flicks to the left and on towards the hangar straight. DRS active 1019. This has not been a shabby lap by Stonks.
No, this hasn't. He's been on the limit throughout, and it seemed to be a very good lap. Now into Stowe, down to 6th. You just run the car out there with natural understeer. Very nicely done. Now into the Vale Chicane, 3rd gear, maybe missing that first apex just slightly, on a bit of a slide on the exit as well. Now through Club. What's it going to be for Stonks? It's a 1 minute 25.197. That is a very, very competitive lap time for the first lap on the board. So I wouldn't expect too many drivers to beat that one. Maybe 3 or 4, but that is a very, very competitive lap time there from Stonks, and I think we do have a Ferrari of Schumacher coming round the Vale Chicane now. He's had some unfortunate races over the past few weeks as he goes quickest for 1 minute 25.0.
And there goes Gabor to beat him. 124.7, I should say. That gets Finn then, who goes to 3rd to join his BRT teammate. A couple of McLarens crossing the start-finish line. Here comes Lars Kramer around the final corner. Lars jumps up to 4th spot. They're coming in thick and fast. Championship leader Joe Murphy rounding the final corner now. He's going to jump up to last and 7th for now. Here comes Lucas rounding the final corner. The McLaren now going to be the man with a wooden spoon. Elite Risks jumps to 3rd. Furious in 2nd. We've got more coming out of the final corner now. There's Ogween. He's just starting a lap, actually. Keep an eye on Bobberts as well. He's done a 1019. That matches Schumacher in 4th. Gabor did a 1017, so that's your reference point there if you're interested in the middle sector splits. Down towards the Vale Chicane then. Tyrrell Martin goes to 6th spot. His teammate Keke crosses the start-finish line now. That's 10th. Here comes Bobberts rounding the final corner. Where can the Brit go? It's only going to be 12th for now for Bobberts. Not necessarily up there. Venom then heading down towards the Vale Chicane, his Red Bull Racing teammate. We saw Venom just start his lap moments ago. That's how high speed it is here at Silverstone. Round for the final corner. Can the Red Bullman beat his teammate? No, he actually can't. That's 14th spot for Venom in the bottom 4. Not got times on the board just yet. Quantum flicking it through Chapel Curve.
Yeah, Quantum on a lap time now, 1 minute 1.9. So that is what we've mainly seen from the field so far through that middle sector. Maybe a bit annoyed at that Ferrari actually weaving down the hangar straight, so maybe Quantum a bit annoyed at either the Ferrari or just his line in general, but he's coming into the pit lane. He's aborted that one, so not too happy there was Quantum. but it's been a disasterful opening start to this qualifying for Ogween. Couldn't get that first lap on the board, invalidated, and has now run out of fuel heading down the hangar straight. I think he also backed out of this lap anyway, so he didn't have enough battery. So Ogween not got a lap time on the board yet. Not what he wants if he wants to put up a fight against Joe Murphy for this championship battle. So of course he does have 2 more opportunities to get a lap on the board, but around Silverstone, every lap is crucial because it's so easy to invalidate just by overstepping that marker ever so slightly.
Yeah, it's not a great start for Ogween, but he's had shaky qualifyings before and certainly brought it back. But one man going on to a hot lap, it is Supply Raptor. He's going to be the only man on a hot lap, so he's going to get a bit of screen time here on the debut. The Williams rounds through the final corner, and onto the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. We will stick with Supply Raptor while keeping an eye on the left-hand side. There's 11 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Gabor is currently quickest of the bunch with a 1:24.787. That's a very impressive lap from Gabor, the Scuderia Ferrari-man, who of course took his first win, I should say, last time out, the Japanese Grand Prix. It was a mighty performance that day. He was by far the quickest man on the circuit, and it's looking like it's going to be inclined that way here today as well. Good for a sector that from Supply Raptor. He's heading then through Luffield and on towards Woodcut, and that's unfortunately going to be the end of that one. It's a validation for the Williams. Pressure just got to him a slight bit, and that is no time on the board for him, so no time for the bottom 3. That's Quantum, Supply Raptor and Ogween, and they're all at different stages in qualifying. One's on an out lap, one is on a lap, coming back into the pit lane I would presume, and the other one is sat in the pit lane, maybe just fine-tuning a setup. But Schumacher in 4th. Gotta say, Steve, for a Ferrari team that have not had much consistency this season, a 1st and 4th at the British Grand Prix would be quite a decent result for them.
Yeah, I mean, Schumacher has just been plagued by bad luck, wheel issues, it's been so unfortunate for him. Of course, I think we think he had one last time out in Japan, he had one in Saudi Arabia and another one in Spain. It's just not gone his way this season, but I feel like if he does finish these last 2 seasons on a high, last 2 races on a high, it will be a massive confidence boost just heading into future races and whatever he goes off and does. So Schumacher, he's always had that good race pace, and he's recently started picking it up in qualifying. But yeah, 1-4 for the Ferrari drivers. Gabor as well, he's recently really switched up that pace and become on a whole different level. But yeah, for the Ferrari guys, what's been a tough season, these final 2 races can really just change their attitude if they end it off on a high.
Well, here comes Schumacher then to keep the ball rolling for the Scuderia around the final corner. Of course, Ferrari won the 2022 British Grand Prix in the form of Carlos Sainz. No one was beating Verstappen this year, so Ferrari will probably null and void that result and hope that these guys can repeat the Carlos Sainz victory. But here comes Schumacher then in towards the loop. He's rounding up towards the Wellington straight. I was about to say the Woodcut straight, but that doesn't exist and never will. It's the Wellington straight. Here comes Schumacher though. Let's see what the first sector split is. Is he up on his time? Marginally, 0.070. It seemed to be the middle sector where he was lacking. He was 2/10 down on his teammate. The middle sector seems to be where Gabor excels, although you would be inclined to agree with that statement, because of course he was really quick in sector 1 of Suzuka, which is twisting left and right. Middle sector here at Silverstone is twisting left and right, so it seems like high speed corners is where Gabor is good at. So it's one thing to just note maybe for the remainder of the season. Here comes Schumacher. Can he get it equal or better to his teammate? Then in towards Chapel Curve, drifting it a little bit out wide. Let's see the sector split. He's marginally up, so he's not really lost too much time over the duration of the lap, but he's still not found much of an improvement in that middle sector. When you set such a quick banker like a 24.7 or a 24.9 in Schumacher's case, you do struggle to find some time on it, and he's pulled into the pit lane, so he's not going to actually improve on this lap. We'll keep an eye on Gabor as well, and most certainly we'll keep an eye on Ogween, who's running through the first couple of corners now, because he's not got a lap on the board yet, and Joe Murphy's not got a great one on the board either, and he's not improving for the first sector. So keep an eye on the pair of them. The 2 championship challengers have probably not been the quickest drivers over the course of this season, if you exclude the start for Joe, but they've certainly been the most consistent. Quantum jumps up to second for Haas Formula 1, the Constructors' Championship leaders. Furious rounding through the final corner as well. He could find some improvement in this final part of the lap. Furious across the line. He did find some improvement. 10th of a second, in fact. Wasn't good enough for a position. Goes to show you how quick Gabor and Quantum were on their laps. Here comes Lars Kramer heading through the Vale chicane now up towards Club. Bit of a slide mid-corner for the McLaren. He's just about held it, but is he going to lose time in that regard? He did. He just went under, and that is very unfortunate for Lars Kramer. Joe Murphy pulls into the pit lane, not even going to get a middle lap on the board here, but here comes Ogween, the other championship rival, 5 points off the championship lead. Needs a result here in Silverstone. How's quali going at the 6 minute mark for Ogween? He's gone up to 5th, beats Joe Murphy. Good lap that from Ogween. That's going to take the pressure off a bit.
Yeah, that's exactly what Ogween needed to do, get that lap on the board. And I mean, he's only 2 tenths off the, I say that, now 3 tenths off pole position as Gabor goes even quicker. He's been absolutely flying through this session. Martin goes up into 2nd place as well. It's super close between, I would say, from Martin all the way down to about Schumacher. I say that, down to Schumacher. 8th place to 2nd is just over 2 tenths of a second. And Stonk's going up to 5th. He's having a good run as well today. It seems that this later part of the season has also helped out some of the Williams drivers. We saw Ian get that win and the pole position last time out. Now Stonk's up into the top 5. And yeah, they've really found their rhythm on this game. Venom goes up into 6th place now for 1 minute 24.912. It is so close in that top 10 that finding a mere half a tenth improvement could gain you at least 2 to 3 positions, and that is exactly what we want to see from these drivers, and just show how close they really are on paper.
Both Finn and Quantum coming into the pit lane in unison. Quantum in 3rd, and then his teammate Furious in 4th. It's an entirely Ferrari-powered top 4. They have all 3 teams who have a Ferrari package. They're in the top 4. It's of course the Factory Scuderia team, then it's the Alfa Romeo Sauber team, and then the Haas Formula 1 team. Can the other Alfa Romeo Keke make it an all Ferrari powered top 5? Here he comes. No, he's way down on his time. He's not improving, so he certainly won't. Supply Raptors having another bite of the cherry, heading in towards the arena. Let's see what the Williams can do on his lap. It was a decent first sector the first time round, but unfortunately it was nothing, or it was invalidated actually. It wasn't a non-improvement, it was an invalidation. He's already had one go here on this attempt, if you'd like to say, because he was down on his ERS and now he's way down on his time. So Supply Raptor he's not having a smooth transition here to Tier 2 this season, which is unfortunate, but we're going to hope that the Williams driver can perform in the later parts of the session and in the main Grand Prix. If you're enjoying the action, make sure you do subscribe to the World Online Racing YouTube channel, and make sure you do pop a like on the stream. We love having you here on Crossplay Tier 2, and we hope you're enjoying yourself as well. 4 minutes to go here in qualifying. Steve, at this point, surely it's Gabor's pole to lose.
It surely is. I mean, it's going to be so difficult for the drivers behind to find that time that they have lost to Gabor, and he could still even improve on that lap. There's always going to be time for Gabor, and he'll want to find that, and I reckon there is a good chance he could find some time in that lap. And I mean, we're going to be in the quieter part of the session now for about a minute. I mean, we do have Joe Murphy and Lucas out, but we've seen Joe Murphy do this pretty much every race this season. Come out with about 4 minutes to go. Make sure there's enough time for it where if he does invalidate his first lap or make a mistake, he can back off, cool the tyres down, rebuild that battery, and then go again. So Joe Murphy, after what's been a quite difficult qualifying session here today, will want these next 1 or 2 laps maybe to be the best he can get.
Here comes Joe Murphy then. There's a lot of pressure on him because he's not had the greatest second half of the season. He's in 13th, qualifying for his home Grand Prix. Here he goes braking for the first braking zone. Hits his apex nicely there in 3rd gear, then bring it back round for the loop and hook the car in. You sometimes see a short shift there, but Joe Murphy not really opting for it. He's then gone through the left-hander up towards Brooklyn's corner. Let's see what this first sector's like. Is he finding time? Here comes Joe Murphy. He's not, he's backed off. Oh, this is a very shaky couple of moments for our championship leader. He's a 5-point lead in the championship. The way it's looking, it's not like he's going to be able to wrap it up today. or even maybe keep it at this point. A lot depends on Ogween's performance as well, of course, but Joe seems to be struggling. He's now got some wear on his tyres, but he's going to have plenty of time to just get those bad boys cool, get the battery in, and just basically try salvage something. At this session, another man who may struggle for form this season, that's Lucas. He's going to be the next man to start his run for McLaren. We will keep keen eyes across all of qualifying, but Joe Murphy, surely his confidence isn't going to be at its highest peak right now, Steve.
No, it certainly isn't. I mean, we saw last time out he had a good qualifying and then was unfortunately collected in a lap 1 incident, which sort of ruined his whole race and allowed Ogween to gain those points on Joe Murphy. And now he's not having a great qualifying here at his home circuit, which you would expect would be one of his best because, of course, it's the home track, home advantage, as they say. So, I mean, it's just unfortunate how it's gone this second half of the season for Joe Murphy. He looked so certain at the start of the season to win this championship quite early on, but this second half of the season just hasn't materialised, and it's just sort of been a downward spiral pretty much every race other than the win he had in Kota. So it's going to be a hard one for him to come back on as he's about to start another lap, and hopefully, for his sake, he does get a good lap in, which puts him at least in that top 10, because that's where he needs to be.
Here he comes then. He's down in the first sector again. Huge wobble heading into Brooklands. This is not smooth sailing for the Joe Murphy ship. Rounding through Luffield and on towards Woodcut. Cops Corners got to be nailed. So does Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel if you want a chance at winning the British Grand Prix. Qualifying, not the most important thing in the world, but my goodness me, is it important to be at the front of a Grand Prix heading into 2 flat-out corners, basically. Every league racer has learned that lesson the hard way. Keep an eye on Tyrrell Martin as well. He's driving great here so far in qualifying. Jack, has he crashed? He has actually crashed, I think, coming through the final corner. We'll take a look and see what's happening there. How about Joe Murphy? He's found time, actually. It's a 1:01.9 in the middle sector. Decent that from the Aston Martin, rounding in towards the Vale Chicane and Club. What can the championship leader do? There's got to be times ticking over quick and fast. There goes a Haas across the line. There's no improvement. There's a Red Bull in front of Joe Murphy, but we'll be sticking with him for the time being. Here comes the championship leader. He's up into the top 10. 7th, beats Ogween. Decent from Joe Murphy. He's got... It's taken some pressure off him. There's still going to be a lot of weight on those shoulders of Joe Murphy, but he's taken some pressure off him at least. Quantum has backed off his time. TRL Martin is finding time in that middle sector. Gabor has backed off. It could be the shock of all shocks, potentially, if TRL Martin could take pole position here in Crossplay Tier 2. Didn't score points last time out in Suzuka. Maybe was that due to his own fault? We will not know, but here comes TRL Martin, rounding through the final couple of corners. Can the Alfa Romeo take pole in Silverstone? Across the line, he misses out. He lost time in that final chicane. He misses out, and that marginally very disappointing for TRL Martin. Ogween finding time. He's into the 108.1/8 in the middle sector. Can he beat Joe Murphy? What an intriguing fight it would be if these two could start side by side on our row of the grid. Bobbitt beats Joe, goes to 7th. Here comes Ogween across the line. He jumps up to 4th spot. Pressure, not a problem for Ogween. Very nice lap indeed. Gabor has backed off his time. Finn finding some time. Here comes Elite Risks. Oh, he's invalidated, unfortunately. No time for Elite Risks. Venom not finding time either, but we'll still stick with him. Let's see. Well, he's not going to find any time in the pit lane, is he? The pit lane technically quicker, but that's not going to count for your lap. Here comes Finn across the line. Finn's going to jump up to 12th position. Easy as you like. Gabor on pole position for the British Grand Prix.
Yeah. Brilliant lap time there from Gabor. No one going to be able to get close to that one, so tried getting that the final lap in to see if he can improve a bit more, but unfortunately made a mistake on each lap. So brilliant lap from Gabor, but Ogween, 4th place on the grid. That's probably around about where he wanted to be for this session, so it's going to be an enthralling battle, especially with Joe Murphy still in the top 10, so there's no hope lost for him just yet. Yes, Ogween's up the road, but this circuit, it promotes a lot of close racing in this field, because if you saw, down to about 13th place was only covered by about 3/10 of a second. So this circuit's going to be so close. Drivers are going to be trying to make moves everywhere. So it's not all over yet in the championship battle, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in this race, because it will be a very, very exciting one.
It is the very quick Hungarian hungry for another result. as Gabor takes pole position for the British Grand Prix. Then it's Furious second, Martin in third, Ogween fourth, and Quantum, Stonks, KK, Venom, Bobberts, Joe Murphy, Schumacher, Finn, Risks, Lars Kramer, Typical, Supply Raptor, Lucas, and Jack down the back in 18th position. Ladies and gentlemen, the British Grand Prix is coming up after a short commercial break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to World Online Racing. We're here for Crossplay Tier 2. If you're just joining us, we had a fascinating qualifying that saw BRT Gabor take pole position for the British Grand Prix. He won last time out in Suzuka, of course, did not take pole on that occasion. It was Ian Van Unen who took that, and he's not here this evening, of course. But on your screen, you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that is Silverstone. That is one of the most famous circuits in racing. That is a circuit where an estimated 150,000 spectators attended the event in 1950. That's how much pull this circuit, located across two counties in the United Kingdom of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire. That's the draw it has. There's been some fabulous home winners here in the past. Lewis Hamilton won in 2008 by 68 seconds to take his first of 7 wins at Silverstone. Jackie Stewart lapped every car in 1969 as well. Of course, he is from Scotland, so he won't like me saying that Silverstone is home Grand Prix, but I don't think Sir Jackie tunes into World Online Racing on his Friday evenings. But now, the most important question in motorsport, Mr. ETH Steve, who wins this race?
If you just go off how he's been over the past few races, I think Gabor's going to convert this one into a race win. He's just been on such fine form recently. I mean, he was good around France, and then Japan, he just took it to a whole nother level. And this circuit is somewhat similar to Japan in a few sectors and a few corners, so he enjoys driving around here. If qualifying's anything to go off, he is quicker than the rest of the field by a little margin, which over a few laps could be a good 3 or 4 seconds. So I'm going to go for Gabor to convert this one into a race win.
Gabor to win the British Grand Prix, says Steve. There is an average of 7,800 bottles of champagne drunk on a British Grand Prix weekend. Joe Murphy is going to be hoping that one of them belongs to him and it has Drivers' World Champion written on it. That's, of course, if Luke finds a new sponsor within the next 40-ish minutes. But what a race we should have here at Silverstone. We are on the grid with 3, 4, 5 red lights on. And we go racing in the United Kingdom. That's a very good launch from Furious off the front row. That's an excellent launch from Furious off the front row. He leads the British Grand Prix in towards turn number 1 and 2. Late braking for turn number 3. The Haasman gonna try block him off. Does a successful job of that. Ogween up to 3rd, performing well. Ogween has started on the soft compound tyres. It's gonna be a thunderous charge from the Alpine up through the pack. Great race start. He's past TRL Martin. Look at this. Gabor trying to get his position back, going for Broke, maybe in towards Brooklands and Luffield, but Stonks goes up the inside of Quantum. The Hassman just fighting for his life in the middle of the pack as well. Keke doing a decent job. Joe Murphy holding firm in 10th. That's Lars Kramer who's gone round, heading through Luffield now. Awful unfortunate for him. Stonks is looking for a move potentially into Cop's corner. There's a Ferrari looking for a move into Cop's corner. That's Schumacher on Bobberts. Schumacher once again a fast starter here in World Online Racing. Joe Murphy's caught up in a fierce fight here with Bobberts and Elite Risks. He's gonna be like a dog fighting out of a cardboard box here, trying to get his way through the pack. And look at this one, Schumacher going for the move on Keke. Another move for Schumacher. Quantum, Ogwin, I should say, going for it on Gabor, side by side, in towards Cop's corner, or Stowe corner, apologies. What a move that one was by Ogwin. The soft tyres have worked an absolute treat here. Stonks now going for it on the Scuderia Ferrari of Gabor. Stonks going for it round the outside of Gabor, to be precise. He's also on the soft compound tyres. The soft's the quicker tyre at the start, of course. Furious leads the British Grand Prix. Ogwin most certainly going to have a go here through turn number 3. Gets a good run through Farm. Late braking for the third corner. The Alpine up the inside. Threads the needle. Up the inside. Has defense. Block pass into the loop. The Alpine can't quite get that up and under. He was too close, actually, to that Haas car heading through here. Down towards Brooklands for the second time. The Alpine, who's hunting for a championship lead, is in the race lead for the British Grand Prix. What a race start from Ogwin. Excellent day, as the Alpine team would say.
Yeah, Ogwin with a flying start. He's using those soft tyres to perfect use. He now needs to try break away through this middle sector from Furious behind. Of course, DRS is enabled next to that, but that slipstream is going to be helping Furious down the straights, most notably the hanger straight into Stowe corner. The Haas still all over the back of the Alpine. Joe Murphy's now dropped down to 13th place. He's dropped behind to the Alpine of Elite Risk, Venom and Finn. While all that was going on, so a disaster start for Joe Murphy. His championship rivals up in the lead, as now here comes Stonks on Furious. Maybe could he get Ogwin as well if he's got the momentum? No, he doesn't, but he's to the inside of the Haas. These soft tyres working perfectly, and Furious gone from first to third in the space of a lap. These soft Ogwin and Stonks need to break away, and they need to break away now, or this soft tyre advantage will be gone very, very quickly. And Schumacher also with a very good start. The only other driver on a different tyre, he's on the mediums, up to 6th place, being very, very aggressive like he usually is here in Tier 2, and making some brilliant moves of it.
Stonks was looking up the inside of Ogwin, but I think he thought a little bit better of that one. Just an interesting thing that I've gathered information-wise over the races I've done in this game at Silverstone, the hard tyre is actually pretty much on par with the medium over a long stint. So that's why a lot of these guys have gone for the hard, and that may be why Ogwin and Stonks are opting for an earlier pit stop for the hard tyre. Of course, you don't traditionally see drivers starting the softs in league races, probably since 2021, where every race was a soft medium. Now every race is pretty much a hard medium, but we have all 3 dry compounds of tyres selected on this grid, 2 on the softs, 1 on the medium. The one on the medium. Schumacher also up to 6th. Schumacher, he likes going for 1 step softer, doesn't quite go 2 steps softer, which would be the soft. He goes 1 step softer for the medium and always gets a very quick race start. Thankfully has not been riddled with bad luck just yet, but Ferrari going to be counting their lucky stars and hoping Schumacher can make the 26 laps duration of this Grand Prix. Here comes Stonks looking for the race lead, maybe in towards Stowe corner. Nope, not quite got it. Alpine versus Williams, 2 very similar coloured cars, 2 cars on very similar pace at this stage in the Grand Prix. That's Joe Murphy. He's actually got past Finn. So Joe, someone who can stagnate a little bit in Grand Prix, that's something he's done over the duration of this season. I think that's a fair comment to make. He's sort of just waits in the middle of the pack. He's actually making moves today, and that's Joe up to 12th. But he did start 10th, so that's still awful disappointing for Joe, especially when your championship leader is leading the race, and this could be a 20-point swing. And that's not happened once this season in terms of another driver coming from behind Joe Murphy to overtaking him by that amount of margin, because no one has overtaken Joe Murphy in the championship. He's led from start to finish, but Ogwin no longer leads this race from start to finish. Stonks now into the race lead.
Yeah, Stonks had that DRS. Of course, you would make use of it, especially with Furious behind, who certainly will be keeping these two drivers on their toes. He certainly won't let them break away as much as he possibly can. And to be honest, those soft tyres aren't really providing too much of an advantage through the corners, because, to be honest, the hard tyres are a very, very good race tyre around here, and the softs they do hit the cliff quite quickly, but just due to the amount of fast corners we have, it puts a lot of load on those tyres, and it really just doesn't really help their longevity during the race. But Ogween not going for the move on Stonks to repay the favour down into Stowe. Supply Raptor gets past Lucas, but Furious could be looking at the Alpine, but no, he doesn't go for the move. He's getting closer though as the laps tick by, does Furious. Lap 4 of 26 now. Joe Murphy still in 12th place. He needs to make these moves. That's why he's doing it, unlike what we've seen so far this season. He needs to make the moves, and he needs to make them now, because he knows how crucial this race can be to the championship. If Ogween does get this good result, say 2nd or 3rd place, it is going to be very, very, very big swing into Ogween's hands, and makes it even harder for Joe Murphy next time out in Brazil. But we're going to have to wait and see. Does Furious go for a move on Ogween into Brooklands? No, just sits behind once again. Just going to wait for these soft tyres just to hit that cliff and fall off a tad bit more, you would think.
Yeah, it would be a sickener for Joe if the turnaround was this great, because you have to remember, Joe won the first 3 races on the bounce. He led the championship by a massive margin. What a swap it would be from Ogween if he could turn this around, but trust me, he's not getting everything his own way here today. Although it might be stagnating into a little bit of a DRS train, it's not going to stay like this. Lars Kramer picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's just given up. That's a weak mindset from Lars, unfortunately. Here comes Furious. He's looking up the inside, potentially. It's going to be 3 abreast in towards Stowe corner. 4 abreast. Gabor introduces himself. Hello, look, it's Gabor here to party. He says in towards Stowe corner. Furious now wasn't able to get it all his own way, and Ogween leads in towards the Vale chicane. Stonks on the outside of the Haas. Stonks being pushed off. Where is Gabor? Is it going to be a through? Goes Hamilton moment. Oh, what a save from the Scuderia Ferrari. Through goes Hamilton, round goes Gabor almost. What a piece of skill from Gabor. He's dropped a bunch of places down to 6th position. That's unbelievable from Gabor. How has he saved that car? Pure driving talent, pure piece of skill from the Hungarian. Furious now under pressure from Stonks and Tyrrell Martin behind. Schumacher in 5th as well on the mediums. This is all kicking off on lap 6.
It certainly is. Stonks with a big slide through Brooklyn could invite Tyrrell Martin round the outside into the left field, or even try to switch back, but no, Martin sits behind. But Gabor, in any other instant, any other driver, that car is usually going straight into that wall. But Gabor with a absolutely amazing save. I've never seen one like it through Club Corner. But Gabor is under a bit of pressure from the other Haas here of Quantum. Quantum to the outside. This could be a really good move from the Haas, but no, Gabor just able to hold on the inside line. But this DRS train really is spicing up. Drivers wanting to make these moves. And actually, I'll say that. Stonks going wide could invite Martin down the inside into Abbey. Is he going to get the move done? Yes, it is. The Alfa Romeo gets in front, but Stonks will look to the inside heading into turn 3. Will he? No. He just sits behind the Alfa Romeo. Martin up to 3rd. And it seems that these hard tyres might be starting to come into their form slightly. Schumacher makes a move on Stonks, but Stonks stays ahead. But these mediums and hards are becoming a lot quicker.
Oh, here comes both Ferraris tripping over each other. Schumacher goes for it. Stonks now runs wide, heading through Brooklands and in towards Luffield. The Haas and the Alfa Romeo, I should say, getting involved in this one. All the Ferrari-powered cars falling all over the place here in the middle sector of this lap 7. Quantum looking for it on Keke, potentially no. Both Ferraris committed to the inside at the same time on the Williams, and I don't know how they've all got out of that one unscathed pretty much. Ogween still leads this race by 0.3 of a second. Gabor piling the pressure on Schumacher. Gabor, of course, took pole, led. He didn't really lead the early stage. This race runs wide through Chapel Curve. He was up there at the early stage of this race, had that huge moment, now pressuring, try to get past his teammate. Swap for the race lead. Furious up the inside of Ogween. Ogween runs a tad wide, and that's job done from Furious. Gabor looking for it on his teammate, wasn't able to get close enough. 0.2 of a second now, the gap between Furious and Ogween. Ferocious, up and forth and back and sideways racing here, and look at this one, sideways through the final corner, or side by side for the final corner, I should say. It was sideways for Gabor, but not for Quantum. He went up the inside and he got the job done here, heading in towards turn number 1 down the Lewis Hamilton straight. Keke now looking to try pressure back and get the job back done on Quantum. Wasn't able to commit to the move that time round, wasn't able to get it done. Here comes Ogween, though. Is he able to pressure Furious in towards Brooklyn's left-hander? This is horrible for Ogween and Joe Murphy, because they have a lot on the line. No one else has anything on the line, apart from Haas, who do have the constructors' standings, but no one else really has anything on the line, so they're like an absolute pack of badgers, just tunneling and looking for moves in and out and everywhere. But Ogween and Joe will notice every little slide from a car in front, beside or behind them. So fair play to Ogween and Joe. Wouldn't like to see a heart rate monitor, but certainly that would be through the roof. And speaking of through the roof, do apologise if your lag went through the roof, folks. All the issues should be fixed for now.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the championship battle, you just want to keep your nose clean. Every single aspect of the driver in front or behind, you just note in your head. You know what you are so focused about what's going on. I say this as Ogween makes the move on Furious, these two starting to trade places, heading down that hangar straight, and Ogween back up into the lead now, but you constantly are looking at what the other cars are doing. You aren't focusing on yourself at that point in the championship fight. You're always looking at, say, when Ogween was behind Furious, he's always looking at what's happening to Furious's car. He's just constantly paying attention. You are so focused on the other car that sometimes you'll forget you're even driving yourself, and still somehow it's hitting every apex possible. It's just so difficult and such a high pressure situation to be in. So much stress for drivers like this, and they just need to be able to cope with it. It's all they need to do is just cope with that stress and just try and keep their nose clean throughout the race. I don't think there's going to be any moves this time around heading into Brooklands. It's all seeming to have calmed down also slightly through that first part of the lap, but I feel that these soft tyre runners of Stonks and Ogween will be in around about lap 11, lap 12, putting on a set of hard or maybe even medium tyres at a push and taking them to the end. So I wouldn't really expect them to go any longer than lap 12.
They're running a huge gamble veering off the status quo, unfortunately, though, because if a safety car comes out while they're down the back of the field, it's done for both of them. Huge gambles here in Silverstone, but those are the gambles you have to make if you want to win a world title. Furious gets up the inside now, the Alpine. They've been swapping and changing for the last 3 laps into that corner. There's Supply Raptor, gets past Lucas Supply Raptor. Welcome to the tier, my friend. That's a good move. He's up to 14th. No one into the pit lane this time round, but we do expect those soft runners to come in due course. But I'm thinking here, Steve, have these guys gone for short-term gain, long-term pain? Because they're going to be on... They're on pretty old softs now. Alright, the second and fourth in the Grand Prix. They're on old softs now. They're going to get an undercut, fair enough. Short-term gain. Then they're going to be on old hards to the end of this Grand Prix. Is this the best strategy they could have played here? Especially if you're in Ogween's situation, where you're currently on course for an 18-point championship swing.
Well, it does, as you say, it does have its risks of safety cars and everything, but the medium and hard, as you said earlier on, there isn't too much difference. As you can see, Schumacher's not really gained too much on the medium runners, the hard runners in front. He's sort of just been picking up the scraps and making the odd move when they're unexpecting it. So I would say that going on to the hards, it is a bit of a risk, knowing that it will be older than the mediums, but that medium tire will then catch up with the wear, and by the end of the race, it'll be a similar performance from both tires. So if there's no safety cars, I reckon they could still be in a very, very good position. With the undercut they might get as well, this track is very, very key for an undercut. They could be at least a good 2-3 seconds ahead, depending on when the likes of Martin and Furious comes in. But Stonks, early driver into the pit lane, 5 second time penalty. That's going to be huge for his race. But this is where we see how much of an undercut does he get to the likes of Ogween, Furious and Martin.
If you're a league racer and you're watching this broadcast, please take this word of advice from me. Brake early into the Silverstone pit lane.
Ooh.
It's as equally as important as don't hit your teammate, because it's slower speed and it's a lot earlier than you think. Steve, I think I can break what the ooh was for. Stonks on the mediums. That is a peculiar call.
I mean, actually, I think they can make it to the end. You can do about 16,
I'm not so
17
sure.
laps on the mediums.
I commentated a race last Saturday, and they pit on lap 11 for mediums. There was safety car until lap 13, and it was puncture. for a couple at the end. Ooh, I'm not so sure.
Well,
it's a gamble. It's a gamble. Ogwyn, though, if he can carry on for another 1 or 2 laps, can get this done. He can go soft medium. But my goodness me, is it bravery? Is it? Well, I don't really know how to describe it, because the word I want to use to describe it probably can't use. But it is brave to go for a strategy like that in a race like this. Is Ogwyn going to go for the race lead? No. Lifts off, going to take the slipstream. Comfortable gap to Martin behind, so we can do that. He's going to be in the pits this lap then. He is. Ogwyn got an earlier braking for this championship. He does brake early, he brakes early. Yes, well under. That's what you got to do, folks, if you're coming into the Silverstone pit lane, because I believe it's a 60 mile an hour speed limit into there, as opposed to an 80 mile. No, it wouldn't be 80 miles an hour in the pit lane. It's something anyway.
70. I think it's 70 around other circuits.
Yeah, I think it's. Oh, actually, it could be 52 mile an hour in Silverstone. I don't know. It's something. But yeah, it's mediums for Ogwyn as well. So this is definitely the call. Venom's gone for mediums as well, but he was on the hard, so that is to be expected. This is going to be an interesting end to this race, Steve.
It certainly is, and I mean, in Stonks' case, hitting that lap earlier, he's got nothing to lose, but look at the undercut he's got! The undercut he's got on Ogwyn is about 2 to 3 seconds here. It's a massive undercut, and this could work out amazing for the likes of Ogwyn, Venom. Joe Murphy's even boxed in this train, and we know he was down in like 12th place.
Yeah, good call. That
he can now be up into the top 7 by the time everyone else boxes. So Schumacher probably will be in at the end of this one or the next, because he's on the mediums. Get them gone, put on the hards, and then see where he comes out. But Stonks' undercut, if that's what to expect every lap from the mediums once they're fresh on, about 2 seconds, then Martin and Furious, and even Gabor, are in big trouble. That is Martin, Schumacher, Bobberts. They're all going to start coming in now. Maybe not the drivers that are near the back of the field, but they're all going to start coming in over the next lap or 2.
Let's ponder a drift then. Let's take a look at Stonks, and let's see where he comes out in relation to TRL Martin. Because my goodness me, is that an extortionate undercut by NVR Stonks? That's incredible. That is freakish almost. And how powerful the undercut is here at Silverstone. We knew it was powerful. I did not think it was anything close to that powerful. There's Martin exiting the pit lane. Here comes Stonks heading through Abbey and in towards Farm Curve. Oh, Stonks, rookie error, that one. Cutting the inside of the corner. He now has 8 seconds worth of penalties. Here comes Martin. Where does Martin come out in relation to the traffic? Martin's going to come out ahead of Venom. Martin is in 11th. That's actually not worked out too bad for TRL Martin. Thought that was going to be a lot worse. He's 2.2 behind Ogwyn. Still a lot of work to do. Ogwyn. Steve, I think this could be a championship masterclass by Ogwyn. He's in race-winning position, and it's almost comfortable at this point.
It certainly is, and Martin is going to be under pressure from the likes of Venom, Schumacher and Joe Murphy behind, because they're all within the DRS, and we know Venom, he's a very good driver when it comes to attacking, and he can get that job done if he wants to, and he probably will, because this strategy could put him in a really good position come the end of the race, maybe even battling for a podium from being near enough nowhere. Lucas gets past Supply Raptor, heading down into Stowe. A nice easy move there. Furious into the pit lane now. Gabor in. But this is where we see how powerful that undercut was. The comparison between Furious and Stonks. We also need to keep an eye on that battle between Venom and Martin. I don't think Venom's going to get close enough. He has the momentum, but no, just sits behind the Alfa Romeo. Doesn't want to risk a dive to the inside there. But Furious changing on to a set of the mediums as we expect. Stonks coming around Club Corner. This is going to be a major undercut here from the Williams driver.
There he goes. Supply Raptors released from his box, as we can see. Stonks heading through turn number 1 and 2 and 3. Here's Furious coming out of the pit lane. Where is he? Where is he? Side by side with Schumacher heading in towards turn number 3. Mediums not up to temperature on that Haas car at all. Is Joe Murphy going to be opportunistic potentially in towards Brooklands corner? But let's see. Heading down towards the Wellington straight out through the loop. I think Furious is going to be holding 9th. I think he's going to be okay here in 9th, but just remember, does have 3 laps fresher tyres than Stonks and 2 to Ogwyn, so that's gonna be an interesting conundrum. You can almost take Stonks out of race winning potential here because he has such a large amount of penalties now, but Ogwyn is the man they're all chasing. And to be fair to Tyrrell Martin, has caught a couple of tenths of a second, but look at this, that's a 6-car train here on lap 14 of the British Grand Prix, heading in towards Copse Corner. Incredible. Keke is in, Quantum carries on. Is Quantum going for softs or waiting for a safety car? I'd say both.
It'll be smart maybe from Quantum here. He wasn't really in race-winning contention with the way he was only just behind the likes of Martin, but it wasn't race-winning contention at that time because you're so far behind the rest of the field on the strategy-wise. You might as well maybe either pray for a safety car or just try stick it out for softs and do one last charge at the end, as Venom actually got past Martin there. So Venom now up into provisional P2 actually here. So of course with Stonks' penalty. Ogween's also going to be pulling now away from these cars behind because they're all going to be battling, and Ogween now has DRS from Stonks. So that gap is going to keep getting bigger and bigger as we head down the Wellington and the Hangar Straight. So I would expect this race win here is Ogween's to lose. And all he has to do is get past Stonks, then keep his nose clean if Stonks wants to make a move. Just maybe give him that extra little bit of room and just keep his nose clean, keep his head down. And this race win could be crucial for him. And it will be the first time the championship lead will be taken from Joe Murphy's hands.
Joe is in the points, as the famous British entertainer Bruce Forsyth used to say, points do equal prizes. So Joe is going for some points here just to try and get as much as he can. But Ogween's on fire in the second stint. Even the Stonks only has one lap older tyres. He's clawed him in, and here comes Ogween looking to try and get past the Williams Racing car. They both look similar, certainly not teammates, not esports teammates either. Here comes Ogween, gets the job done on Stonks. Tyrrell Martin gets the job done. Oh, aggressive swipe from Furious on Schumacher, side by side in towards here. That was ultra aggressive from Furious in towards Stowe Corner. Luckily, no damages from it. Schumacher went for the move at the inside, was probably a bold move, but still, that could have been a really close accident. We haven't had a safety car here, of course, today. We haven't had a virtual safety car. I don't even think we've had a yellow flag since one of the Red Bulls went off in qualifying. Elite Risks actually sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Elite Risks into the points in 10th spot. Lucas now the only man who's not made a mandatory required tyre change so far in this race. If safety car came out now, that would be something else for Lucas, and he'd be in a very good spot. But Lucas leads a World Online race again here in Crossplay Tier 2 for the first time in a long time. So Lucas, we're glad to have you back on the lap leader board. But lap 16 out of 26, we've got 10.5 laps of racing, if you include this one, still to go. Ogween is in the provisional race lead by 0.5 of a second, but Tyrrell Martin is actually closing them both in. This would be a true story. A true fairy tale is the word I'm looking for, if Tyrrell Martin was able to take a win here today.
It certainly would. I mean, he came down from Tier 1. Yes, you would think, oh, he was in Tier 1. He's surely quicker than everybody else. But the gap from Tier 1 to Tier 2 is super, super close. And it would certainly be a big comeback for Martin if he's able to win this one. Schumacher and Furious heading down into Stowe. The Haas on the inside. Schumacher trying to hold it around the outside. Can he do it? No, he just can't pull it off. Furious manages to get the move done up into 6th place. He's now going to turn his attentions, he hopes, to Venom in front. A bunch of penalties have just came up on the screen. Finn got one. I think a few other drivers got one. Finn's out of the race now. He's retired. Lucas into the pits as well. He's now onto the mediums. But Martin needs to catch up to Stonks if he wants any chance of catching Ogween. But Venom is trying to put him under slight pressure, but I just don't think it will be enough. And Martin is getting closer and closer to the back of the Williams in front, and eventually what would be about an 8-car battle for P3 become a 10-car battle for first. It will be an exciting battle to watch, and hopefully many an overtake, as Joe Murphy in 7th place. He's made a decent comeback on this strategy, but under immense pressure from Bobbett's behind.
A 10-car battle for the race win is like Ross Brawn's fantasy. What a race this could be to the end of this Grand Prix here. You only get this sort of stuff in league racing, so make sure you subscribe because you're going to want to see more of it. We've got a thrilling championship finale coming up next week. as it stands. Of course, Joe could still wrap up the title here today, but we'll have to wait and see. Here comes Venom, going for this one to TRL Martin. Venom pulls to the outside, the front two looking like they're going to swap and change as well. Venom onto the podium, Martin down to 4th, Risks and Bobberts side by side. Risks in the Alpine falling down to 9th, but as Bobberts taking all the risk, going for this one to 8th. Trying this one around the outside, heading through the Vale chicane, contact between the two, round goes Bobberts, round goes pole sitter Gabor. He just drove straight into the scene of the accident. Oh, it's that bad luck for Bobberts once again. When fighting and having good pace, Bobberts does not get the rub of the green once again.
No, it's just not been a season for Bobberts to remember. He got that pole in Zandvoort, but it's just his luck that's just been down the drain, and just every opportunity he gets at good point scoring positions, either contact with another car that wasn't his fault, or just everything goes wrong really. Gabor with front wing damage as well, so that's his race over as well, unless there's a safety car. So now we've gone from what could have been a 10-car battle for the win. Now Venom is in with DRS of Stonks just about, and now he's fallen back out of it. We will have a 9-car battle for the race lead. It will include Schumacher and Stonks, because they could still maybe get at least one of their penalties removed. I think Schumacher's only got the one, where Stonks could maybe get his 3 seconds or maybe even a 5 seconds removed, depending on how the game actually fixed that system. But now TRL Martin to the inside of Venom. We have Furious as well. We're going to be 3 wide heading into Stowe. Furious gets the pair of them before the corner even happens. Furious with a very opportunistic move gets the move done. He's up into 3rd and is now staring down the barrel at both Stonks and Ogween, and he will want to really get those moves done, especially with how late he pit and where he came out in relation to the 2 cars in front of him now.
It's like the Jaws music, isn't it? It's like in Tour de France, the peloton catching the breakaway pair. It's much easier to drive or cycle in a group than it is on your own, and Ogween and Stonks have found that out potentially the hard way. We said it was Ogween's race to lose. Is he going to lose it? We'll find out in a couple of laps time, but there is a lot of driving to do for these drivers if they want to still win this British Grand Prix. Here comes Keke on Elite Risks. Alfa Romeo gets the job done. Good move that from Keke up the inside in towards Luffield. Elite Risks is down to 9th position now here in this Grand Prix. 1/10 separates Furious and Stonks. There is 1/10 between himself and the barrier that separates himself and the race leader. Let's see then, through Maggots, Beckers and Chapel. Can he carry over speed compared to the Williams? Oh, he can. He's much quicker and much more slick through there. Slick through Chapel curve as well. And the Haas now has the run on the Williams. He got 2 into the 1 the last time round. He's probably not going to get 1 into 1 here. That was great straight line speed from Stonks, because of course he has DRS as well on Ogween. Stonks runs wide. Is Furious going to try a late lunge up the inside into the Vale chicane? He brakes later, does not brake late enough. It seemed like Stonks broke at the 100 metres, Furious broke at the 99.9, but it was still later. Let's see, can he go for it maybe in towards Abbey or Farm, or is it going to be a turn free job as he gets around these 2 flat corners, right and left? Can he brake later than the Williams and go for it? No, Stonks doing a great defensive job here. He's working tirelessly to try and get this one. TRL Martin and Venom side by side here through the arena. Good Venom staying in front with a good move, and Martin under pressure from Schumacher. Look at this, Stonks is holding up Furious. Stonks holding up Furious is allowing Ogween to pull away. Stonks almost losing DRS to the man in front of him. They're almost 3-4 abreast into that corner. Mere inches separating them. Schumacher fighting for his life on that hard tyre with Joe Murphy. Schumacher really putting up a valiant effort considering a tyre deficit he has in the entire pack. Here he goes, going for it into Cobb's corner. Go Schumacher up the inside on TRL Martin. What a move from Schumacher. It's amazing what happens when you hit your apex into Cobb's corner. Stunning from Schumacher. Excellent move there. He's got the job done on lap 20, but further afield, Ogween not quite dropped the second yet. Stonks gets the DRS once again. Stonks unbelievable straight line speed. It seems to be low wings and vibes set up, as he'd probably say himself. Here we go, side by side once again in towards Stowe corner. Keke gets the job done on Joe Murphy. This is stunning racing. What a conclusion we're having.
It certainly is. Oh, and who's that going wide? I think that might have been Quantum going wide behind Joe Murphy. He's actually pulled off. I think he got a bit of front wing damage in all of that battling. It's just they all congested up into one, heading into the Bell chicane, and then a little bit of contact is all that's needed for a little bit of front wing damage for the Haas. And that is his race, I think, over, unless he got an illegal overtake through the Vale chicane. But Furious still under immense pressure from Venom behind. Stonks is doing a brilliant job at defending here from a driver who's on 3-lap fresher tyres. And on this game, that makes such a difference to your car's performance. So Stonks just keeping with it, maybe even Ogwin's keeping Stonks within that DRS, just to make sure that he's able to defend from Furious behind. Because I think Ogwin knows if Furious is able to get by, he's going straight for Ogwin and probably going to get by within a matter of laps. So we're just going to have to wait and see if Furious can get close enough to make the move on Stonks, heading down into Stowe, heading through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Now Venom's dropped back slightly. Schumacher's also just a bit too far back from Venom as well. The two Alfa Romeos are very close to each other. But here we go, down the hanger straight. Stonks is just so much quicker down that hanger straight compared to Furious, as we have both Alfa Romeos going side by side. Martin and Keke don't hit each other. Number one rule of racing is do not hit your teammate. Keke goes by, and I think Martin may have gave him a little bit more room just to make sure that he didn't make any contact with his teammate. But Alfa Romeo, being bottom of the constructors, making some good points so far today for their championship overall.
Yeah, certainly. They've been a little bit rejuvenated since Martin's come in and joined the team. Of course, they started out this season with Boots and Nick in that team. That's certainly not the lineup that's probably going to finish it next week in Brazil. But look at this: Venom and Schumacher, Argy Bargy, Keke trying it round the outside on his fellow PlayStation driver Schumacher, down in towards Brooklands. The Alfa Romeo sort of boxed in here. He really is boxed in. The Alfa Romeo trying it the long way. Can he keep it? Just inches of space, and there's contact between the two. Round goes Schumacher, heading through Luffield. The name Schumacher has been awful unfortunate through that corner over the years. It's happened again, and Schumacher goes round. Look at this, Furious is right on the Kraken sponsorship on that Williams racing machine, and it seems like it's sort of Carlos Sainz-esque tactics from Ogwin in front, just to keep Stonks in the DRS so he can defend through Chapel Curve. It's this straight where that Williams is so ferocious in a straight line. Look at this, he just goes, it's gone, it's a monster, it's absolute engine performance at its finest down that back straight, the 770 metre back straight, otherwise known as the hangar straight, of course, as well. There used to be an aircraft hangar there, I'm sure, when it was back as the old Air Force Bomber Station. Lap 23 of 26. Genuinely, if Ogwin goes on to win this race, a lot of the credit is going to have to go to Stonks. Ferrari have gone from what we said could have been a really good result to no points, because Schumacher's down the back and Gabor is out of this Grand Prix, and you can see that is the lapped car. Oh no, that's actually Gabor's AI car coming out of the pit lane. Schumacher is down in sector 3. Here we go then onto the Wellington straight once again. Furious is just saving his battery here, but they all seem to be doing that. They're all saving their battery for, I think you'd be inclined to assume, a last lap shootout.
It certainly is. That's what happens here in league racing. You just save your battery if you're in a DRS train, and then you just unleash it all on that final lap, or even on the penultimate lap before, because usually you do still have about half of the battery still in the tank after a full push lap, so you could do 2. But Furious again right on the back of Stonks, heading into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, but once again just isn't able to get the run you would think out of Chapel. But actually this time around he's using his battery compared to laps before, but so is Stonks. They're going to be side by side heading into Stowe. Will Furious be able to hold it around the outside? No, Stonks shuts that door and is able to stay ahead. This is going to be perfect for Venom if he's able to get by, but Furious trying to go around the outside this time now. This could be an opportunistic move here from Furious. It's a bit wide. This could invite Venom to slice through. He's got past Stonks. Can he do a through goes Hamilton? No, he can only get past Stonks, sorry, as now Keke's trying to get past Stonks as they head down into turn 1. Is he going to get the move done? He forces Stonks off the road. There's a bit of contact made, and Stonks is sent into a spin. And what seemed to be such a brilliant defensive display from Stonks, it's all unravelled, and he's down to 8th place. Hopefully no damage for him, but he is now off the back of this train, and the best he's going to finish is, I would say, P10, maybe even P11.
The bubble burst for Stonks. the pressure just built up and it went pop, because once he lost one spot, he lost them all, and then even more than that. It's game on at the front of this Grand Prix. Joe Murphy's still getting some good points here in this one now because he's in sixth. It's just it's what he does, as Will Ferdinand would say. He just sneaks his way up there when all the chaos starts kicking off. I believe sixth position is 8 points. I think that's what it is.
Yes.
So he's now praying that Furious can get past Ogween, so that points gap swing is minimised. But there's a lot of racing to go here. 5/10 is the gap. We're coming on to the penultimate lap soon.
This is going to be a very, very exciting end to this race. We still have 7 drivers battling for this race win, and no one's got penalties. So this is 7 drivers all fighting it out for the top spot. Stonks retires from the race. That promotes Lucas and Supply Raptor up into the points a bit more. And for Lucas, those points will probably be greatly appreciated, just because he's had such a tough season this year compared to last year. So it certainly is going to be a little bit of a confidence booster for him, but he does have a penalty alongside that. So he might drop down out of points once again. But Furious versus Ogween. Furious not going to go for the move. We have 2 laps to go here. It's going to be super, super close on that final lap. They're all just saving their battery now. Venom's not got as much as the others. He's down by about 40% to Furious in front of him. But that slipstream and DRS effect could be crucial come the end of the race. And maybe if Venom can get past Furious, he can maybe even be in for the race win himself. Venom all over the back of Furious as they now head into Maggots and Beckett's. You can see that Haas logo all over that rear wing. He's got a bit wide through Beckett's there actually, and now down the hanger straight. This is going to be so crucial next time around. Who has DRS down here can more than likely win this race. Furious going to sit behind once again. You don't want to make the move now because that will mean Ogween will have the DRS next time around for the final lap. And this is where it now hits breaking point. Who will win this race as we're about to go into the final lap of this British Grand Prix? Keke's in contention, Martin's in contention as well, Joe Murphy's in contention for the race win. It's going to be super, super close. Is Furious going to be able to get by into turn 3? No, he's going to sit behind for the Wellington straight. I don't even think he's going to go for a move there.
He's not going to go for it there. That would be way too risky.
It's going to be...
If he went for it
all down to the hanger straight.
Yeah, hanger straight. That's where you got to wait for. That's where he's been saving his battery for the last 5 sort of laps, really. 5-6-ish laps. I know he burned a little bit of it to get past Stonks, but that was sort of a needs must, I think. I don't think that was the ideal usage for there. It's not very frequent. You look at the last lap of a Formula 1 race, and there's about 7 cars in your picture while looking for the battle for the race lead. This is sensational. This could all go very wrong for Ogween and Furious, and someone sneak through to take it. But here we go then, through Copse Corner for the final time. The Hasman of Furious runs wide, picks up a little bit of the curb. He's okay, not too bad, but that could cost him in the long run. Down through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. There is only a handful of overtaking opportunities in the penultimate round of the season. Onto the 770-metre hanger straight. Furious, it's weave, all the way down the back straight. Furious goes to the outside of the Alpine. It's got to be unbelievable defending from the man second place in the championship. If he wants to win this race for Alpine, Furious goes to the inside for the Vale chicane. Braking now for the left-hander. Then it's a flick to the right. It's brilliant defending from Furious through here. He left it late. It's late, but it's a race win for Furious across the line. The British Grand Prix has gone to Haas. Ogween has had it taken away from him in the dying seconds, not even the dying embers of this Grand Prix. Alfa Romeo get 4th and 5th. Joe Murphy gets 6th. For the first time this season, someone other than Joe Murphy is going to lead the championship. But unbelievably, we're going into the final round.
Next week is going to be an absolute thriller because both drivers will be going hammer and tong. They'll be just throwing punches at each other, and it will just be like a heavyweight bout for this championship. Ogween was so deserving of that race win up until those final moments where Furious just sort of just steamrolled by, really. Round that outside, there was nothing Ogween could have done. Furious just has so much more momentum, and it's, to be honest, a deserved race win for Furious. And I think it's the opposite to what happened last time out in not last time out in Spain earlier this season. Ogween managed to get Furious. on the final DRS straight of Spain as well. Venom, brilliant result for him as well. 3rd place. He was down in 13th at one point, I think, and is now back up to 3rd, and that was a really good strategy from him. But we finally have a different championship leader heading into the last race of the season. It's going to be so close next week in Brazil.
The showdown in Sao Paulo emerges after today's extravagant showdown in Silverstone. Furious. It's an all-British podium at Silverstone. Can't ask for much better than that if you're a British League Racing fan. It's Furious, Ogween, Venom, Keke, Martin, Joe, Elite Risk, Typical, Raptor, Jack. Oh, Lucas missed out on points in the end. Awful unfortunate for Lucas. Then it's Bobberts, Schumacher, Stonk, Scabor, Quantum Finn, and Lars Kramer, who didn't last awful long in the Grand Prix, unfortunately. Folks, I would be highly doubtful that we will get any interviews, unfortunately, this evening. So we will go back to the camera screens. Oh my goodness me, my camera has frozen. That is quite an appalling. There we go. That's a lot better. I don't know what that was on the screen. It was like a freeze frame. But Steve, we're going into the final round of the season next week. What can these folks at home expect?
I mean, Brazil, it's where every championship final should be. It's got everything. Overtaking opportunities, a very twisty middle sector. It's going to be super exciting to watch. I mean, I don't even think DRS train's going to be a part of it. It's just going to be straight action, overtaking everywhere. Except from Joe Murphy and Ogween now. No one has to worry about their own personal championship, really. You sort of just finish where you finish. So it's going to be a very, very exciting race. And expect something a little bit like we had today, maybe with a bit more action up at the front of the field.
T.R. Martin's happy with that race. He says he can finally make a video about it because, well, he didn't DNF. He got P5. Very good effort from T.R. Martin. And all Finnish Alfa Romeo team finishing 4th and 5th. Maybe they're not finished. But ladies and gentlemen, October 20th, I think. Yeah, October 20th. We have the Crossplay Tier 2 Championship finale. Unfortunately, there's no Tier 1 action here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, but you just had an absolute fistful of overtaking here this evening in Crossplay Tier 2. Next week, 7 p.m, be there. You are not going to want to miss this championship finale. It's going to be, may I say, one of the best races so far in any league on F1 23. It's going to be an absolute corker. From myself and from Steve, thank you very much for watching. We're going to leave you go. Enjoy your evening now, ladies and gentlemen. But do not forget, 7 p.m. next Friday, World Online Racing Crossplay Tier 2 Championship Finale. Consider it a threat if you're not there, no. But make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out our title sponsors, Next Level Racing and GridFinder. We're going to leave you with a word from them now, ladies and gentlemen. But stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.